update us on AJ Green and Sam Hubbard's injury?
Yeah, DJ will be a season-ending injury. So we signed Isaiah Williams. He's coming up today. He's gone through the protocol from New England. So he'll replace DJ in there. And then Sam will definitely be out this week. It might be a couple weeks with him. We'll see. And then AJ, again, we'll get a feel as we go through this week.
Is it AJ Green's left hamstring, the same one he aggravated in training camp?
Yeah, it's his hamstring.
Okay.
What does the loss of DJ do? Can you just talk a little bit about what you had seen from him and how big of a loss that is for you guys?
I've been nothing but impressed by DJ. Just his effort on every single play, not only his talent level, but just his overall effort on every single play, and really the leadership that he had provided. He's no nonsense. Comes in here, gets the work done. Has
Coach, get more snaps? Will he increase the number of snaps with respect to the injury here? Is he increase it?
Yeah, we'll be smart. It's I think he got the right amount of snaps coming off his time that he spent off, and so we'll just continue to reevaluate that every week, depending on the plan, and see where his account should fit.
Xavier Williams impressed you last week?
After the first three possessions, you really held Baltimore in check. What do you think you found out about them that made you so effective?
I think our staff did a really good job of playing together, and our players believed in it, executed it. You just look at the communication on defense overall throughout the day. I thought that those guys really played with a ton of energy and believed in what we were doing, made the plays. They were relentless with their pass pursuit and some of the pressures we brought off the edge. They did a nice job tackling, keeping everything in front. Lamar's going to make some plays on some extended plays that I can't really explain how he gets the ball to where he gets it. He's one of the best in the league at doing some of that stuff. And so some of that stuff is going to happen. You just got to minimize it. And I thought that our guys gave us a chance. They really did. We gave them the ball on the 30-yard line off a pick that Baltimore finished off with the touchdown. And then obviously we gave them the fumble for the touchdown. So aside from that, I thought they had a good plan and the guys executed it.
Zach, I assume Xavier Williams impressed you or made a good impression last week on his visit.
Yes.
What did you like about him? What led to obviously the Reader injury, but what did you like about Xavier specifically?
His size and just the qualities that we've seen on tape.
Zach, did you talk to AJ about maybe a sense of frustration more than just the injury? Did he mention anything to you today about that if you had a conversation with him?
I'll keep all those conversations private, but we talk to our players every week and feel really good about where everything's at.
Zach, with AJ? What happened to Dak Prescott and with the number of times that Joe gets hit, did that bring it home to you that, you're going to need to protect this guy a little bit better, or, God forbid something like that would happen to him, to have an injury of that seriousness?
Yeah, we're not going to play afraid. That's first and foremost. And when we know that you want to keep your quarterback upright, and everything factors into that. Play calling, protection from all the other guys, and then the quarterback as well. So again, we're all accountable for that, and we all want to keep him upright.
When you evaluated that part of it, Zach, the protection, and was it equal distribution? Was everybody guilty an equal amount of time? Was there a slant in terms of where that problem arose or anything?
I would say there were three, and they weren't all sacks, but there were three just straight up protection busts where free runner came that should not have been coming, and again, every position's accountable for that. And then there's other times where the coverage is really good, and on first and second down, we got to do a better job just staying in normal down and distances, and that comes from myself as well. But again, some of those coverage sacks, were attributed to that as well.
Zach, you said you feel good about the conversations that you have with your players. Does that include AJ after yesterday?
Yes.
It looked like, we haven't talked to him yet. It looked like he was very frustrated with his role and his rotation. Did you see the video? Do you have any comments on what was said on the sideline?
No, I have no comments.
Do you feel like the receivers are being open enough, or do you feel like that's part of some of the issues yesterday, and if there has been stops and starts with the offense over the course of the year?
No, I think yesterday, that's one of the top. They got two Pro Bowl corners, and one of the best fronts in all of football. I put that front in the top 5 of all football, and so they've caused a lot of issues for teams over the last 2 years. We're not the first to fit that, and there's a certain approach you got to take when you play them. You got to be smart, be efficient on first, second down. You can't be in second 15 and third and 15 all day like we were, and turn the ball over 3 times. Really, 14 of those led to points. And in a game like that, we're really you just can't have that if you intend to compete with them. And I feel like the receivers have done a really nice job. And there's going to be snaps when you're playing against Humphrey and Marcus Peters and some of those guys where it's tough. You got to really work to get open, and everything's going to have to work on time. But no, I would say that the receivers have done a nice job.
Coach, did you have any conversation with Logan and Akeem? Both of those young men had opportunities, and you're going up against Phillip Rivers, obviously a good quarterback, but also has a propensity to make mistakes, and those are the kind of plays you need if you're going to win in this league.
Yeah, I know we got the turnover, but we could have had more. And there's no conversation needed. They know. We harp on turnovers all week in practice and the meetings, and they understand that those are plays that we need to make. They're there. There was a couple others as well that we could have had. When you're playing good football teams, you need to take advantage of every opportunity you get. And I'm confident that they're going to get those. Logan got another one the other day, and those guys are going to continue to do a good job for us. But really impressed with the direction that they're headed, at the linebacker position particularly.
What did you think of Geno Atkins yesterday, and what is the next step for him going forward?
It's good to have Geno back. He brings a certain energy and quickness in there, and that veteran experience that's going to be good, and he's only going to continue to improve as we go forward.
Zach, when you look at AJ's numbers off Catapult during practice, has there been any inclination that he hasn't been able to go full go during games when you look at the numbers that you've been seeing that Joey's looking at off Catapult?
No.
Coach, how hard is it to balance? You have a unique blend of, guys like AJ Green, Carlos Dunlap that have been here for a decade, Geno Atkins, and then young guys as well, T. Higgins and Joe Burrow. How hard is it to balance that aspect and coach guys that are maybe a couple years younger than you, and then guys that are 15 years younger than you?
It's not. I would say it's difficult to balance. That's important for any football team to have that blend of experience and young guys that are talented, that can learn from some of the older guys who have been around and can still play at a high level and have a lot to give to those younger players. And I think that's what's important about the veterans that we have in this building is they're willing to share that. They're willing to help bring those guys along up front. They're not selfish in that, hey, this guy's competing in my position. It's more of what can I do to help this player come along quickly and help the team. And that's one thing I've been really appreciative of with just the guys that we got in that locker room that you would call veterans.
Coach, when you said there were protection busts, was it due to confusion where, he shows 7 or 8 guys, which 4 are coming? Sometimes a corner and a safety might come with 2 defensive linemen and others are dropping. I mean, were the protection busts due to confusion like that with respect to assignments?
No. 2 of the 3 were very standard week to week. Should be no issues. One of them we should pick up, but it was I thought 2 of them were pretty simple.
Okay.
Any other questions? Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Jay.
Where is Xavier Suafilo in his recovery? I know he's eligible to come back.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect him back before the bye. I think that's kind of the time frame we'll continue to work through. It could be after that as well, but I certainly don't expect him back before then.
Any updates on John Ross's? I know he was out last week with an illness.
I don't have an update on him today, but I know that he was not feeling well on Friday and Saturday, and then we just made the decision to leave him back just because everything going on. No sense in bringing a guy who's been sick traveling on the plane.
You obviously talk all the time about culture and the importance of creating it here. Where do you feel like that's at? Do you feel like you're there yet? Where on that spectrum do you feel like you're at, and what kind of are the signs that you look for to see where you're at?
Yeah, it's going to sound crazy to hear me say this, but some of the things that I saw on Sunday were some of the most encouraging things I've seen here from that aspect that you mentioned. I had a defense that really was provided no relief by the offense over the course of the day, that kept believing that they could do their part to help us win that game and never let up for 1 second. Offensively, no heads down. Guys were still optimistic going through. We were facing some tough times. There's no question about that. And, so those guys kept believing in what they were doing and kept feeling like we were going to break through on that dam. We needed to get points on the board at some point. We just couldn't get it done. And shot ourselves in the foot a lot of ways. But the belief that you felt just from being around the players was that game was never out of hand, despite it probably looking like it on the scoreboard. We still felt like even at 20-0, if we could just get some momentum on offense and get a touchdown, then we could try to get ourselves back in it. But again, just encouraged by the nature of don't get it twisted. Guys are upset that we lost and very discouraged by that. But certainly this is just a bump in the road for us. We're not going to let the momentum that we've been building the weeks prior be affected by this, because there's still a lot of belief that we can go forward and do some great things in the upcoming weeks.
Joe mentioned that after the game, he mentioned that he needs to get the ball out of his hand quicker. Do you concur?
I think that we can all do a better job. It's again, it takes all 11, the play caller. When you face a defense like that gets a lead, and then they're just going to throw the whole kitchen sink at you. It takes all of us to be on the same page and make sure that we're executing quickly and at a high level. And we just weren't good enough at that yesterday.
Zach, y'all invested a ton of money this offseason in three guys, Reader, Waynes, and AJ. I think it's like upwards of like $115 million total in contracts. I mean, how frustrating is it to not have those pieces this first year as you're kind of rebuilding and trying to get a sense of what this franchise is going to look like moving forward?
I mean, you want your great players to play, but that's beyond their control, and that's just the way it is. And if you spend time worrying about it and being frustrated over it, it's going to take time away from what we're trying to accomplish this week. And so that's just life in this league. Teams deal with it all over the place. You can't make excuses for it. You just got to find ways to win.
How well was Reader playing? I mean, it seemed like, watching the tape, it seemed like he just jumped out all the time. I mean, how pivotal was he for that defense? Yeah,
he was doing a great job. You know what you're going to get from him on every single snap. And he's done a great job getting in great shape. Just really impressed with him through 5 games. And even on the play, got hurt. Tremendous play. He makes the play and unfortunately just looks like he gets twisted up there at the very end. But, been really impressed and really happy with how he played through those 5 games.
Zach, how important is it going to be to have one of these receivers, and not just receivers, but on offense, produce a couple big plays and stretch the field these last 11 games?
Well, I just think when those opportunities come, we got to take advantage of them, and we're more than capable of that. We've been inches off, just a quick play off in a couple games and some of that stuff down the field, and sometimes it's going to come in the form of a catch and run. There's some opportunities there as well, and again, I don't care what it looks like. We need to find ways to continue to generate explosive plays.
Does a loss like this almost make your job, I don't know if easier is the right way to say it, but I mean, do guys come back angry and more committed and more eager to work? It's not something you have to do as many corrections maybe on your end as they're so self-motivated.
I think that we've got a group right now that can see it clearly on the tape and know what needs to be corrected and hold themselves accountable. It doesn't make my job easier. I can promise you that. When you lose a divisional game like we lost, that's disappointing because we felt like we were prepared and we're going to have a great performance. And so when the score is what it is, that part can be frustrating. But again, you got to put it behind us, and move forward and get ready to attack Andy. And I know your guys are in the right mindset to do that.
Joe talked earlier this year about never winning 2 games or never losing 2 games in a row. I'm sure something like yesterday is completely foreign to him. Have you noticed any change in his demeanor as this has gone on?
No. He's still got the same mindset that he's always had, and a belief in this team, a belief in himself. And, I don't think we'll ever lose that edge with him.
When the defense is teeing off like they were teeing off, the running game can sometimes anchor them a little bit. The fact that couldn't get that aspect of it going as well was a frustration, obviously.
Yeah, that's just part of, first down efficiency. We did have a lot of first down runs when you look at it over the course of the game. And when we keep knocking ourselves back, with some of those play actions and some of those types of plays. We had some penalties as well. We had a first down screen that was efficient that we got called for holding, had a false start. Some of that stuff that knocks you back ends up taking away from your running game.
Zach, we talk a lot about after games, like just say of players being humbled a little bit. For you, is that one where you as a play caller feel humbled a little bit and have to find things to learn from?
Yeah, trust me, there's no missed opportunity in what we can learn from. There's games in my career I've been a part of before, not necessarily as a play caller, that I draw from that ring to memory. We had one in 2018 against the Bears, where it was a very humbling experience. I think we lost 16-6 or something like that, and went on to play in the Super Bowl. There's games you got to learn how to manage when it doesn't feel like you're in a great rhythm. You got to find ways to get yourself out of the rut and manufacture points and be smart and careful with the ball, and just find ways to. The defense is playing really well. Lean on them, take advantage of some of the opportunities they're creating, get points on the board, and give yourself a chance there in the fourth quarter against a good football team to go steal a win.
Any more for Coach? Coach, thanks for your time.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, Zach.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Pete.